Let's give Rick a hand. We need some incentives.
Thank you, Al. Last week on Wednesday, we had the Whittaker-Bermite CAG meeting. We also had the multi-jurisdictional task force meeting with this. It's the city council subcommittee meeting. Cleanup's well underway. They've moved something like 380 million cubic tons of dirt. It's huge amounts. They're working on doubling the size of the treatment to try to have the soils cleanup done by the end of 2018. Water cleanup will be another 30 years. They're building a beautiful water treatment plant on Soledad Canyon. If anybody's missed it, it's behind the semicircle screens that they've put up. That treatment plant is soon to be operational. It will treat 500 gallons a minute of groundwater. They're going to use some of the water that's treated on the property for dust mitigation and whatever else they use it for. The rest of the water will be dumped into the river. That's all they can do with it because of water board permits and things like that they've had to acquire. Like I say, the dirt's on the way of being cleaned up. They said at the end of 2018. We'll see. Like I've told you before, I always got the answer that it'll be done in 3 to 5 years. We've been doing this for about 9 years now, and we're still looking at 3 to 5 years. Then a thing that's one of my favorites is they're putting in the bridge over Soledad, which was a violation of the DS-12 agreement that's on the property. But the city said that it was an off-site public benefit, and it was passed and okayed back in 2006 when they first gave the permits for Via Metro to go in, and Via Metro, as soon as Via Metro was supposed to have been done, then they were supposed to put the bridge in, which, like I say, violates DS-12, but the owners of the property, which is called Bermite Recovery LLC, gave them the permission to use a little bit of the property. The city granted them an easement, so they're putting in the bridge and the easement for, well, I'm guessing all 2 people that come out of Via Metro that want to walk to the train station. But we'll see. It'll give more access for people that use the bike trail if they want to go over Soledad to the train station. It will create that, but they're using just a piece of that. And I did inform the city that last time they used a little insignificant piece of property, which was they took a piece of the property over on for Golden Valley Road to be built. They took it by eminent domain. Then their Bermite Recovery sued them. There was a $21 million judgment against the city for that little insignificant piece of property that they took. So this one here is an insignificant piece of property, but they did get the okay from Bermite to do it. The CAG wasn't happy about it, but it's too far gone that we've been informed that there's nothing more we can do about it. It's just a small piece. It's the principle more than anything. They did tell us about after the results of the rains, all the rains that we've had and everything else, they capture all the runoff on the property in retention ponds. They had one retention pond that did overflow just a small amount, but they do all testing and test of the water to make sure that nothing's coming off of the property that's contaminated. They've done a groundwater study. They're doing some now that should be, the results will be available in the next couple of weeks. But they're doing a lot of work right between the train station and Saugus Speedway and trying to keep the plume and the contamination from advancing underneath Saugus Speedway. And they're using a process where they're putting even it escapes me what the name of it, bioremediation stuff, and they're putting like curtains of soil and different amendments down to try to block the groundwater from moving from the train station onto the Saugus Speedway. And they were going to use groundwater. Well, the groundwater had dropped down to, it originally was 10 feet below ground level was the groundwater. That's what it's historically been, has been around 10 feet. With our drought, the level of groundwater had dropped to 70 feet or a little more below ground level. So it's dropped 70 feet. With all the rains we just had, and that area, which is the northern alluvium, the groundwater did increase by 12 feet. So now it's up to 58 feet below ground level instead of 70. But that just kind of shows you that how much rain it's going to take to try to build our groundwater and all our resources back up to the levels that have been before the drought. The water companies talked about the cleanup of the groundwater of Saugus 1 and 2, which is by Saugus Cafe and also McBean. Those wells have been being cleaned up for 10 years, but they're only cleaned up for perchlorate. They did mention that VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds or solvents, have been showing up into the water, and what they've been doing is they've been trying to dilute them by mixing the treated water with state water in a ratio of 6:1 before it goes into our drinking water. Well, they've had a 93% success rate with the dilution, and that's not good enough. So the state gave them a permit for non-detect is what's supposed to be for all the treatment of the water. And the VOCs are showing up, and they're showing up 7% of the time higher than non-detect. So they're working on trying to figure out a treatment. They did a study to find out where these VOCs were coming from. And they figured they were coming from Bermite property. They're also coming from the Saugus industrial facility, which is across from where IHOP is. On the other side of the railroad tracks, they used to make vinyl whatevers that they used to be Kaiser's Century. But now it's called Saugus Industrial. So it's coming off of that property also. And he said they're having a fight because Saugus Industrial is pointing the finger at Bermite, and Bermite's pointing the finger at Saugus Industrial, who's responsible for this contamination of the VOCs. So they're going ahead with the treatment, looking for some grants and other things to try to figure out how they're going to treat it and to pay for it, and then they're going to go for the responsible parties. Hopefully they're going to use the Department of, they said they were going to use the Department of Toxic Substance Control as the referee. But so they're working on the VOCs. They've got 3 different treatment solutions, and they're looking for the best one and the most efficient and cost effective. Which one is treating it at over by Lowe's, where they already treat for perchlorate. Another one is they're talking about piping the water up to a treatment plant up by the CLWA headquarters, which is up above Central Park. And then I forget what the other one is. I think it's wellhead treatment or something. Also, they're getting ready to fire up Valencia 201 real soon, and they're going to treat that at the wellhead, which 201 is over by the Paseo ramp by City Hall on Valencia Boulevard. That's Valencia 201 well. It's been down for about 5 years because of perchlorate. They've put a new wellhead in, and they've put a treatment, and they're going to pump and treat at the site before they distribute that water. But that's basically what's going on with Whittaker-Bermite, and we're still pushing. I know Al's pushing hard for schedules, and they just keep saying, well, now we're looking at the end of 2018, and I always say 3 to 5 years. So that's what's going on, and be sure and use that new Paseo Bridge when it goes in. It should be in by the end of May for sure. Anyway.